kid, when you start out on your motorsport journey, you dream of being on top of the world. You want to reach the pinnacle and win a Grand Prix. You want to represent your country. You want to hear your national anthem as you're standing on the podium. So many of us have dedicated our lives to motorsport. We've tasted success all over the globe. But there is something so special about winning at home. And to win a Grand Prix is even better. Only 51 people can say this though.
I'm lucky enough to be a New Zealand Grand Prix winner.
I'm a New Zealand Grand Prix winner.
I'm a New Zealand Grand Prix winner.
And I'm a Grand Prix winner in New Zealand.
This weekend, another driver gets to join that list, to be the latest driver that gets to say, I'm a Grand Prix winner. And we can all say,
welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club.
What a setting we have. Central Otago in New Zealand's South Island.
Welcome to Highlands Motorsport Park.
This is the NAPA 70th
New Zealand Grand Prix.
live and local.
What a place to stage a race. The stunning Central Otago and Cromwell, not all that far from Queenstown. The beautiful mountain backdrops, award-winning wine. We may have sampled a bit of that this week. Some great outdoor pursuits and a venue that is just heaven when it comes to motor racing. We're talking about Highlands Motorsport Park, and in all of its beauty, it is ready to stage the 70th running of the NAPA New Zealand Grand Prix, all part of our coverage of the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship. Good afternoon, everybody. Greg Rust with you, along with Rihanna Crean and Andrew Waite. Kia ora. It is fantastic to have you with us for our coverage. We joke about it in motor racing, but in some respects, we're going to have a Friday Grand Prix, aren't we? It's not the true Grand Prix, but normally it's just a practice day. Today we are going racing.
We are going racing on a Friday, Rusty, and how cool is that? And this is my first time being here at Highlands, and it took my breath away. This is the most spectacular scene I've ever seen for cars to go racing, and I'm honestly blown away with how beautiful it is.
Deputy Mayor Andrew Waite, who spends a lot of time here. It's an easy place to fall in love with. Great that it's staging a milestone running this weekend.
Yeah, it really is. It's an amazing place to be here, see the scenery, see what the place is all about. But then as a driver, that is another whole level again. This place, you get here, you do your homework, you try to learn as much as you can about the place. But until you actually get on the circuit, it's just a complete game changer. All these drivers up and down pit lane will be going, whew, there's some work to do, and you just got to build into it. But what an incredible circuit, and can't wait for the race soon. Met Service says we're in for a glorious afternoon. Highs in the low 20s, some southerly breezes about, no chance of rain at all. And as you heard in that emotive introduction there from Greg Murphy, what it means to be a New Zealand Grand Prix winner. Man, there was a roll call of people that spoke then. You can add to that the likes of the late great Sir Jack Brabham, Sterling Moss, John Surtees, and there's a whole swag of modern generation Kiwi racers that proudly can say they are a New Zealand Grand Prix winner. Yeah, there really is, and we've got Liam Skeets, who's been New Zealand Grand Prix winner. He's back again to try and do the double on that, so he's certainly been very, very quick in practice, so it's going to be interesting to see the way that pans out, but again, just someone else who just can't help but come back to this beautiful location, have another crack at it. Can we set the scene for what is coming your way this afternoon? And that is effectively the postponed race 3 that was scheduled for Teretonga. The organisers of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy want to give these international visitors the full complement of races that were planned, Ree. So we've kind of moved what was at Invercargill, and we're going to run it here on a Friday, aren't we?
And the weather is something that nobody can control. None of us wanted to postpone that race, but the organisers have done a fantastic job to ensure that we can go racing here this afternoon, and the teams and the drivers to get set to go racing as well. So race 3 is what we're calling it, from Teretonga, and it's set by the fastest laps from race 1 and 2. So it'll be young Freddy Slater who'll be starting off from pole position this afternoon. So the weekend is going to be jam-packed for you, whether you're watching on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. Good afternoon to all of you, Fox and KO in Australia, and around the world on YouTube. So a swag of points. It is wide open in the race for the trophy. The Grand Prix, of course, is on Sunday as well. And we've got a bit to debrief out of last weekend's round at Teretonga Park in
Invercargill, where we were hit with some pretty cold, some pretty tough weather there. And we want to offer a bit of balance, I think, in the start of the coverage there today around the lengthy delays that we saw in the final race of the weekend there. Naturally, we spoke to some of the drivers and teams in that moment. Josh Greenland, who is the category manager for CTFROT, was busy at that time and we couldn't chat with him, but I caught up with him yesterday and I began by asking him just a bit of clarity, if he could, around what happens when the cars went off there beyond the track limits, beyond the bitumen and the white lines onto the grass, and the assistance that they receive from our great volunteers.
Yeah, so we obviously acknowledge there's some gaps in the regulations with the new regulations this season, so we're working on those. But yeah, the assistance that was allowed met the rules at the end of the day. Yeah. Fundamentally, I think probably worth clarifying there, it's a little bit like track limits, isn't it? So if they're not actually assisted on the bitumen, if they're obviously helped out of damp grass and things like that, that's okay, but then it's under their own steam from there. Is that what you're saying? Absolutely, yeah. So no mechanical assistance and not being assisted on the track, so the track limits of the white line. Okay. In the stoppage, obviously there's a bit to work through around an incident and then, you know, changeable weather conditions and so on. Some cars were pushed back up the track and into the pit lane. Just walk us through and clarify the procedure on that one. Yeah, so all teams had the opportunity to come into the pits when the red flag was shown. Everyone obviously decided to go to the control line. So yeah, it's obviously a new procedure. So yeah, there were some learnings from everyone from that, but at the end of the day, safety is paramount to us and priority number one. So yeah, how we got to where we got to maybe could have been a little bit cleaner, but at the end of the day, the result was what we needed. Josh, thank you very much for updating us on the state of play. No worries, thank you.
A couple of bits of news in the lead up to race start as well. Unfortunately, Kalerevan Pera, the double World Rally champion, is not going to take part this afternoon. He's got some sort of bug, so we're wishing him all the best for a speedy recovery and to be back here across the weekend. And during the week, we learned that Freddy Slater, who has moved right into championship contention, second in the point standings, wins last weekend at Invercargill and pole positions as well. He is really coming on strong in the back end of this championship. Got some magnificent news. He will join the Audi Driver Development Program as they get set to make their debut in Formula One. Let's meet a rising star on the international scene.
My name is Freddy Slater and I'm from the UK. I started motorsport mainly because of my dad and also because I loved motorsport as well, and anything with an engine. My dad used to race himself, and also my godfather races as well, one of his best mates, and it all started from there at a young age of 5, and I've never looked back since. I love the risk of motorsport, I'd say. I think it's not the risk of danger, I think it's more the risk of putting together a good lap. You know, there's such a fine line between 100% and 101, and 101 is where it all goes wrong. And that feeling of really hooking it up on that qualifying lap and putting it on pole is one of the greatest feelings ever. So yeah, it's the thing we all chase, and it's always good fun chasing it. I think the most recent, the Formula Regional Championship, managed to win that in 2025, and I think it was a very tricky year. We had a lot of setbacks, that's for sure, and we bounced back in incredible style. So I think that's probably one of my proudest moments. There's been a lot of good moments as well, though, but that's the most recent one, and probably the hardest one. I'm racing in New Zealand for a new experience. I've heard a lot of good things about this championship. A lot of good drivers have come through here to go on to do great things. So it's kind of another experience in my chapter of racing, I guess. And yeah, I just can't wait to get started. I like to do golf and paddle away from motorsport as much as possible, just trying to relax and kind of enjoy another sport, I guess, that you can switch off from, and then also spend some time with my family and stuff, because obviously with our career it's a very busy schedule, so yeah, it's nice to spend time with them. The music I listen to is probably tries to be chilled, maybe a bit of house music, but I try and calm myself down instead of hyping myself up, because I think if I hype myself up I'll end up doing something stupid, so I try and calm myself down more. Like, my motorsport idols is tough to say. I kind of try and be my own person as much as possible, but also I look into certain aspects of drivers. Obviously, they've all got many good things in common. Obviously, Max is doing an incredible job with his raw pace, but there's also a lot of things to learn from other drivers as well. So just generally learn from all of them. My motorsport goal is to be multiple Formula 1 world champion. Hopefully the timeline's right, you get the right car, and hopefully I do my job correctly as well. So yeah, we'll give it a good go.
Racing on a Friday at the NAPA 70th New Zealand Grand Prix. Welcome to Highlands and the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship for, as Rusty called it, the Friday Grand Prix. We love it. This is the Postponed Race 3 from Teretonga Park. We're a couple of hours up the road from where we were racing last weekend down in Southland. We've come up to the beautiful central Otago, Lake Dunstan, just on the shores of beautiful Cromwell, and this just the other side of town. A motorsport playground like no other anywhere in the world, Highlands Motorsport Park. There's so much to see and do here, but within it is a racetrack filled with challenge and intrigue and some utterly unique corners as well that always produce some excellent motorsport. 14 corners of them, just over 4 kilometres long. You'll lap it in just under 1 minute and 30 seconds in one of these cars. Richard Crail and Andrew Waite in the commentary box on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Andrew Waite, track temperature's about 30, air temp about 24 degrees. There's a breeze. This is stunning conditions for motorsport. And while this is race 3 from Teretonga, we couldn't be further removed from the conditions we saw there. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Richard. It's complete opposite to what we had done at Teretonga. And we've seen a bit of practice yesterday and today for all of these drivers as well. So for them to quickly turn around and get themselves race prepped as well. It's normally by this point in the day, they're having a debrief about their weekend to this point, getting themselves prepped for qualifying, but there's none of that. We are racing this afternoon. Rusty.
We heard that excellent and watched that excellent profile with Freddy Slater just a few moments ago. Let's talk some racing with him now, starting from the front row, from the ideal spot for this race. How has the week, the couple of days of running here so far gone, and are you ready for this?
Yeah, obviously it's a bit weird to have a race on a Friday evening, but I think the practice has been decent. I think we're in the window, so should be good fun. It's very hot now compared to last week, so should be an interesting race.
You are a really determined athlete. I know we've discussed that in the last 24 hours or so. You have moved as this series has gone on into real championship contention here. There's a ways to go here. What's the play for this one and for the rest of the weekend to come, do you think?
Well, it's a bit of a secret, but just got to do the best job we can, maximise our points, and then see where we end up on Sunday afternoon.
Great approach. Thanks for chatting with us. There he is, Freddy Slater. Brianna?
And alongside him on the front row of the grid, Kanato Lee. Kanato, a brand new track for you. Just give us your first thoughts on what it's like.
Yeah, I think this is the best track in New Zealand. Obviously, the bridge section with the jump, it's quite fun. Obviously, super high speed, and it's really hard to be on the limit, and I think that's what makes this track really nice.
We come off the back of Teretonga, which was a bit of a disappointing weekend for you, some issues with the car. How do you sort of refocus and get set for this one?
Yeah, obviously last weekend was difficult, especially on Sunday. We scored no points. But yeah, hopefully, new track, new weekend, new day. So I just need to redeem myself in this race and do the best I can.
We wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
And just diagonally across there on grid position 3, we find our series leader, Uga Chukwu. How's the week and the couple of days gone so far? And you're in a good position points-wise here. Is it a case of just trying to keep adding to that tally, or are you out for the win?
Yeah, it's been a good few days here in Highlands. I think pace has been pretty strong throughout. So yeah, overall, I think we're pretty confident for this race. Obviously, starting P3, we're going to see if it's going to be easy to overtake. But yeah, overall, just trying to pick up the points, and then we can push on tomorrow.
We've had a real mixture of circuits. I mean, some classic old school venues, some modern tracks. Just give us your impression here of Highlands and how you found sort of settling into it.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it, to be honest. Yeah, I quite like the track. First sector is quite high speed, and yeah, I think overall it's a good circuit. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think tomorrow in the quali session will be very close to get the perfect lap.
Nice to go racing on a Friday afternoon. Enjoy it. There he is, Brianna.
Louis Sharp, we've detailed just how wide open this championship still is. You're very much still in the hunt. Sitting here in the second row of the grid, is the championship something you're thinking about, or are you just fully focused on each race?
I mean, you've got to take each individual race as it comes, but it's the last weekend, so championship is definitely on my mind. Yeah, we're in a good position, I think, considering how bad our Saturday at Teretonga was. This race is from the first 2 races from that weekend combined in terms of lap time. So to be up the front, on the second row is definitely a good result. So yeah, need to have a good result and get those championship points.
You've been spending a couple of days just enjoying sights and sounds of your country. It must be nice to sort of be home and enjoy that for a little bit.
It's so good to be back. There's no country better than home. So I'm enjoying this a lot. It's been, as you said, a nice few days to kind of relax and unwind from a difficult weekend. But now the focus needs to be back on the job at hand.
Wish you all the best, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
They are starting to clear the grid here, so we may not get to Zach Schooler in person, but we're going to grab a quick word with Bruin Beasley from MTech. There are a couple of battle scars on Zach's car. There was an incident earlier today, race against time, but you got it done.
Yeah, practice 2, we just done the fastest lap of the session and then proceeded to embedded himself on the wall here. So it's been a bit of a mission, all left-hand side of the car, gearbox, but it's ready to go now.
Okay. Yeah, and he's on the out lap, sort of talked as though everything's all good?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's always going to feel a bit weird because he hasn't, it's brand new, but he says it's okay. So,
thank you.
That's what we have to do.
Greg Russ talking to Bruin Beasley, team chief at MTech Motorsport. Here's another one of his drivers. This is Ryan Wood earlier today. Andrew, you've done more laps here than most. Talk us through.
Yeah, this first section here straight away is super fast down into turn 1. You're looking for the entry into the bus stop, and look at that, flat all the way into the bus stop. And then from there, picking the throttle up, try and hold the car towards the inside of the track as much as you can. And then you're on the throttle, full throttle, before you can even see the exit of that corner. Getting the car back to the right-hand side. Awkward braking zone into here, because you've got to sort of turn and brake all at once, get the car turned. Little bit of brake just to help rotate the car through the middle. A little bit of understeer there for Ryan as he's back on the throttle. And then this corner is so important because it's flat from here all the way down to the hairpin. Back on the throttle, blind up over turn 7 there. It's very fast, and then full throttle all the way down to the hairpin, lining yourself up for the braking, and it's bumpy right there as you're trying to get the car stopped. And you really got to focus on the exit here as much as possible, as this is the longest straight on the track without any corners in it. And then before you know it, you're aiming for the bridge. Little lift, flat over the bridge for Ryan, over the top of the crest there, getting airborne, then back on the throttle, running the car all the way to the exit, trying to get back left again, downhill, very blind into here, slightly wide, misses the apex there, and then back on the throttle again, eyeing up the last corner. Is he going to go flat? A little bit of a lift on the way in, then straight back on the throttle, running all the way out to the wall. And that is one full-on lap around Highlands Motorsport Park with Ryan Wood.
It happens just under 90 seconds, and that lap of a 1:28.7 was the quickest lap of practice number 3 this afternoon. Now, while the practice sessions are obviously focusing forward towards qualifying and ultimately the NAPA 70th New Zealand Grand Prix, it influences what we see this afternoon. The other thing we're going to talk about, 16 laps to race distance as they set off on their formation lap. We have 6 uses of the push to pass, the extra 25 horsepower boost they get. It's been a revolution as well this season. Where do you use it here, though?
Yeah, there's going to be a few spots that you're going to be able to use the push to pass. It's down the main straight is obviously the main one where we are here, but where I reckon we might be seeing the push to pass is from the carousel down towards the hairpin, because it's flat all the way through there, so you'll be able to set yourself up for a pass in. But then if you do that, whoever's in front has been passed, you'll be able to then use it on the exit of the next corner. So I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see about 3 different spots that could potentially be used.
I like the idea of that. It's going to make the racing very exciting. So the grid, reminder, this is race number 3 from round 3 of the championship. We should have been at Teretonga, we're at Highlands instead, but the grid was based on the fastest laps from races 1 and 2 of round 3, which means Freddy Slater starts on pole. The championship leader, Ugo Ugachukwu, out of 3rd, Louis Sharp next, Yvonne David very well. Good weekend down there at Teretonga, and Zach Schooler out of 6th position in that repaired car. Ryan Wood out of 7th, so we know he's got a quick race car. He can work with that. Yuan Pu Tshui's been quick all weekend in practice here and starts inside the top 10. Jack Taylor had a ripping weekend down at Teretonga too, as did Cooper Shipman, his best. McLaughlin and Manson out of 12 on the Creme Insurance starting grid. Jin Nakamura, who is a championship contender, is a long way back in this. He needs to make ground. Ricardo Baptista next, Nolan Alla, Ernesto Rivera, and Trevor La Tourette. Now, Carle Rovanpera was due to start this one from 4th position. Unfortunately, as the team touched on at the start, he is unwell. As a result, everyone has moved up behind him 1 position on the grid. Championship-wise, Ugachukwu leads by 23 points. Freddy Slater is 2nd, but the next drivers are all very closely stacked. Nakamura is 3 points behind Slater. Louis Sharp is 4 points behind Nakamura, and then 5 points further back you find Ryan Wood. There are 35 points covering the top 5 drivers in the championship. There are 35 points to win this race.
And especially, we have so much racing this weekend, don't we? Between today's race plus the 4 races over the weekend as well, there is so much racing coming up. Even though, yes, it's the last round, there is, for the championship side of things, there is so much coming up.
This is a hugely important race, and we looked at each other before the start of this and thought there's just a little bit of peril involved if you're a championship contender on that run down towards turn 1, the bus stop chicane. We're racing on Friday at Highlands. We're building towards the Grand Prix, but this is to round out round 3 of the championship from Teretonga. Good start from the outside of the front row, but the pole sitter away nicely. Good start, Freddy Slater. Louis Sharp's in there as well off the 2nd row of the grid. Ugachukwu looks down the inside. The high-tech car, silver and black on the inside, but he's going to drop a spot. Ugachukwu goes to 2nd against his closest championship challenger, but Freddy Slater, round 2 for the first time, is going to lead the field.
Great start by Freddy Slater there to get onto the lead, and therefore for Kanato Lee there, he just got a bit, once he gets stuck on the outside there, it is so hard to get back, so he just had to sort of filter back into position there.
Still sorting themselves out behind 2x2 on the run under the bridge and then into this carousel. It's an amazing banked corner that is more banked than it looks like on TV. It's an awesome bit of road, and then flat all the way up here through the lefts and rights, and then into one of the biggest stops on the racetrack, and certainly a key overtaking opportunity. We're seeing that now. Zach Schooler sends it down the inside of Yvonne David and wrestles 5th position away.
Massive dive up the inside there, managed to get it stopped. Obviously just coming off a crash in practice to be able to pull off these moves straight off the bat. He is looking super racy.
Of course, Schooler's one who does have experience in these cars here. Wow, that's a big move. Louis Sharp looking up the inside of Kanato Lee, and he's going to get this done. pulls across in front of the high-tech driver, moves to third. What a pass.
Yeah, great move by him there to get up into third position, looking super racy as well. The two M2 competition cars, followed by Louis Sharp in the M10 car.
Oh man, we are on today. What a start to this one. 16 laps the distance to match the race distance that was planned for Teretonga last weekend. Freddy Slater leads. Ugachukwu was close at the end of that opening lap. Louis Sharp next. Kanato Lee back a spot as we saw. Schooler working his way forward. Yevan David in 6th, Ryan Wood in 7th, Yuampu Chue in 8th, Jack Taylor 9th, and Cooper Shipman rounding out the top 10.
Schooler there looking like he's got pace again as he's on the back of Kanato Lee there as well. Whether or not he's going to be able to do the same sort of move. Obviously, push to pass is now active for these guys as well. So let's see if anyone's going to use it either down to the hairpin or on the exit of the hairpin up towards the bridge, because you're flat up over the top and then you can make the dive up the inside off the other side of the bridge like what we saw Louis Sharp do before.
Phil McLaughlin is defending from Sebastian Manson. That's for 11th and 12th place. Keep an eye on the rain lights behind. That's an indicator if the push to pass is working. And this is Ernesto Rivera looking down the inside, gets the spot done on the 14 car of Cooper Shipman. Or was that Phil McLaughlin? No, it was Ricardo Baptista a little bit further back, my apologies. So passing all there, but no push to pass used so far. And already race control talking about some track limit violations as well, Andrew.
Yeah, there's certainly a spot for that up onto the on the way onto the entry of the bridge there. It's where you can go to the left or the right. Makes it very, very hard. As round the outside.
Wow, that must have been some push to pass.
Yeah, got to be used there to go around the outside of Manson. It's a big move for Jin Nakamura there to start making his way up the field as he's started quite far back.
Wow, and he's actually lost ground down to 13th position. That's 12th now. So challenging stuff for the driver that came into this weekend, 3rd in the championship. And it's races like this at the business end of the season that can be hugely costly. So Nakamura needs to find as much ground as he possibly can. 1 position gained. This is Ernesto Rivera, who is a little bit further down the pack in the 24 car, the Red Bull-sponsored Red Bull Junior driver, 17-year-old Mexican, who's had a couple of moments of brilliance this season, been fast on occasion. Nolan Alla, 14th position. He's in the 52 car for Giles Motorsport, the Martini liveried car. Love that shot over the bridge, all 4 wheels off the ground.
Well, it's completely blind as you go up over there as well, and you're just so committed on the way up and over the top there. And it's a bit of passing maneuver as well coming off that bridge. Even though the car sort of moves around, dances around a bit, it puts you in a good spot to be able to get up the inside.
Freddy Slater sets the quickest lap of the race, but it's still only 0.4 of a seconds back to Ugachukwu. Louis Sharp in 3rd, has Kanato Lee in close company and Zach Schooler next. Yevan David next in 6th position, and then it's Ryan Wood. So no change for the leaders. Here are the 2 M2 competition teammates, 1st and 2nd in the championship. Team looking for their 8th straight. What was TRS is now CTFROT title. They are the form team in the championship race.
No use in the push to pass through this part of the track. The only negative of using that is because of that extra power, and then you're up and behind someone, you lose that aerodynamic advantage. So it's no one's using it there. Let's see if Ugachukwu here decides to use the push to pass on the exit. Again, being the first race here, there's no data, there's no input from previous years of where the push to pass is effective or not. So it's worthwhile using one up early, figuring out where that advantage is airborne up over the bridge again.
10 out of 10, that has to be one of the most spectacular shots in motorsport. Not just here or Australia, globally.
Worldwide. How often do you see wings and slicks cars airborne on a racetrack, all part of getting the quickest lap? And then you come through this last corner as well. You've got the wall right there. You're just so committed as you go through there. It's push to pass for Ugachukwu. The only negative using it into there is it's not a very good passing opportunity into the bus stop there. It's so hard to be able to make a move.
But learning, and now he knows, and he knows now that it won't get him close enough to even look at getting alongside. So the difference now is that he's got that system locked out for 100 seconds. He cannot use it for 100 seconds. So the team are on the radio to Freddy Slater going, you're safe for a lap, and hey, maybe you could use it to try and extend your margin, pull away a little bit. We've seen it used as push to not be passed this season. Can be used in offense as much as it can in defense. Louis Sharp still chasing these two down. He's only 9/10 behind Ugachukwu, and Kanato Lee still in 4th place. Here's Ryan Wood behind Yevon David on the run up into the hairpin, which was widened on the exit a couple of years ago, and it offers, I don't know, it's almost trying to tempt a driver to send it up the inside. It's so wide there, but the apex is quite tight at that corner. It is a very slow corner, so you've got to be committed pretty early to get that pass done up the inside.
Yeah, you really do, and it's quite bumpy on entry into there as well, so trying to maximise your braking into there is super, super hard as well, so just trying to get that combination right and get the exit is super important.
Ryan got a very good run out of turn 12. I wonder if he decides to use the button, use the push to pass. He doesn't. He knows that it's not going to be enough to get past Yevon David in this fight for 6th and 7th position. All of this learning will go into tomorrow's race. Interesting qualifying format as well for the Grand Prix. 3-part knockout qualifying tomorrow morning, New Zealand time, so Formula 1 style. 20 cars will be in the field. We should mention James Wharton, who is back in the championship this weekend, is not running in this race because he did not race at Teretonga. And so too for Liam Skeets, who did not race at Teretonga, so he's sitting on the sidelines. The other little point was that as per their allocation of tyres for round 3, everyone's on a new set of slicks for this race, mainly because everyone used wets last weekend.
And that's great for us as well, because it gives us a really solid form guide as well for the rest of the weekend. So the two out front at the moment, starting to battle away a little bit harder. Ugachukwu there, putting a bit more pressure on Freddy Slater, as Freddy Slater very close to track limits up over the bridge. You've got to have all 4 wheels, you've got to have at least one wheel touching the white line through the corner. If all 4 wheels are over the white line, that's included as track limits.
There's been quite a few warnings popping up on our system about that. Cars 11, 14 and 41. Car 14 has had a couple of warnings already, 2 of them. That's Cooper Shipman running in 10th position. Freddy Slater doesn't look comfortable in the lead of this race. Andrew Ugachukwu just looks like he's waiting for a moment, waiting for a little mistake, a tiny little 1%er where he can pounce and either use the push to pass to get by or just full stop capitalise.
Yeah, and around here those mistakes do come that little bit easier as well, just because it is so much going on around this track. You've got the tighter part of the track through here, and then you're on exit from this point, and all the way from this point of the track down to the hairpin again, you're able to put that pressure on, and because these cars are reasonably easy, flat all the way to the hairpin, you can more or less use that slipstream to drive up behind and try and make a pass down at the hairpin.
I love you racing car drivers when you use the term easy flat. Sure, it's easy for you guys. I don't know about us mere mortals.
The one that gets me is just how they manage to be flat over the bridge as well. There is not a lot of cars that are flat through here, because at this point, as they're arriving, it is blind up over the top, and then you arrive at the top of the bridge there, and then even the little bumps you can see on the exit there, the car moving around. You're trying to get the car back left, and it's completely blind as you hit the brakes. The way the car drops down and the track drops down is just always something go on. You do not get a rest, and you finally make it around the last corner to complete a lap, and then even down the straight there's still another corner as well before you've got to tighten those belts again and tip it into the bus stop, which is super fast.
Slater's just had his first warning for track limits as well, so the leader is under pressure, and Ugachukwu looks racy. From a championship point of view, I mean, it's not make or break for Freddy Slater if Ugachukwu wins this race, but it's certainly going to make his life a lot harder going into tomorrow and then the Grand Prix if he wants to win it. He needs to win today. He needs to eke out a few more valuable championship points out of that lead that the Americans got.
Yeah, and it's all that mind game as well through the rest of the weekend, is who's going to come out on top from this one, and especially having that pace as well. We obviously know that Freddy Slater and Ugochukwu, they've been fast all season, but Ugochukwu here looking like he's just starting to put, as you were saying, Richard, even more pressure on Freddy Slater.
The interesting thing for mine is that Slater's been able to keep that push to pass up his sleeve, so he's got to use it as the race goes on. You only get 6 uses of it in the race. You need to be strategic with it. So if it does look like Ugochukwu will use it, he can then have a couple up his sleeve to burn if he needs to use it to defend his race lead, which he will do if he needs to. Provisionally 19 points by my maths if things run as they are. 23 points coming into it, the championship lead. The interesting thing is, every time this season Ugochukwu has been pressured, every time he has been challenged, he has responded. He has had an opportunity to bounce back and extend that lead back out. Very rarely have we seen consecutive races where he's had that points margin nibbled away. But I wonder if that feature race, the Spirit of a Nation trophy down at Teretonga, where he was caught out, the first mistake we've seen all season long, midway through turn 1, ran off the road, and it was race over. And that was the worst race of the season for our championship leader, who ultimately crossed the line in 14th position.
And that just sort of changed the whole complexity of that championship, didn't it? It's gone from being near on one hand on the trophy for Ugochukwu now to completely wide open, especially if Slater's able to hang on here, as even though we've got so much racing ahead. And as well, just to add to this battle, Louis Sharp is starting to buy into this battle as well, as he's closing up on the back of Ugochukwu here. So Ugochukwu will be wanting to force the issue even more to try and get the move done, because this can work out really good for Freddy Slater, because as soon as Sharp gets on the back of Ugochukwu now, Ugochukwu's got to start using his mirrors. He's not able to run wide in other corners to try and get a better exit to put himself in Slater's mirrors. He's got to start covering his position too.
Louis Sharp last time round set the quickest lap of the race. Ugochukwu had the big slide coming out of the, well, it's the final little kink before the start-finish line. It's not even counted as a corner really, but almost got up and brushed that fence. Very close to it on exit. It's pretty breathtaking. I think you're supposed to go and stand on the pit wall there, but you can sneak out there and have a look. It's pretty scary how close the cars are. You could reach out and touch them with a little finger just hanging over the wall. Don't recommend you do that, ladies and gentlemen. Stay behind the painted lines and catch fencing. 1, 2, 3, the leaders locked together. Just 1.1 seconds covering them, and Kanato Lee used push to pass last time round on the start finish straight, but he was running in clean air, so he was using it just for a little bit more outright speed to try and close that margin. And then watching them all on, his best race in a little while is Zach Schooler, who's up to 5th place. You're not missing anything further back, but Yvonne David continues to find himself under pressure from Ryan Wood, and now feels like he needs to defend heavily into the hairpin. So let's see how this plays out as Wood gets a good drive off the corner, but still decides to not use the push to pass in the run down towards the bridge.
So he may be on that 100-second lockout as well, as Wood pushes the car super hard through the S's up over the bridge, as it is a good passing opportunity, as we were saying before, on the way into that left-hander there.
Oh, Yevon David struggling with the rear of his car, was moving around on the exit of turn 12, which is a slow corner, quite banked. And you need to be good getting your power down out of there, because otherwise it leaves you exposed all the way down this long start-finish, not quite straight, and then down towards the bus stop here. But he managed to do a nice job. Freddy Slater sets the quickest lap of the race, 1:29.2 on lap 10. So your point about Louis Sharp buying into this battle pack, it may well have just taken the pressure off a little bit. That was a mistake from Yevon David. It's opened the door for Ryan Wood to go through, and Sway's going to get past as well. 2 spots dropped for the Sri Lankan driver, and all of a sudden he finds himself down in 8th place.
Be interested to see what kind of lap times Ryan Wood can pull out here now as well. He has clean air, but at the same time he's obviously been locked into that battle behind, so yeah, Yevon David there. So what's happened in that situation, he's just run a little bit wide, and as soon as you get out there, you're on the marbles, which is all that rubber pickup, and it gets really bad around that long corner, and from that point, you just can't get the car back in. So slightly wide, very, very small mistake, and consequences are a couple of positions lost, and especially now as tyres are dirty for a few corners, so all of a sudden he's under even more pressure by Jack Taylor.
who has found a lot of form in the back half of the season. It's been spectacular, and was that surprise pole position at Taupo that really came from nowhere and then went 6th, 5th and 4th in the first 2 races at Teretonga. So he was continuing on an upward trend before this race was postponed, and then he converted qualifying outside the top 10 in 13th to 9th place in the feature at Teretonga. So he has had a string of top 10 finishes as we've got into the second half of this year's CTFROT Trophy title. And now Yevon gets the tyres cleaned up. We saw that at Teretonga in that one dry race we had, where if you got out in the marbles, Greg Murphy calls it the shingle, you get out in that, it takes you forever to get your tyre back to a point where you can race effectively.
Yeah, it really does. And even David is, even though he's lost positions, you can nearly say he's lucky at the same time, because you're that committed through there with that much aero load that when you get that little bit wider, if you go on those marbles earlier in the corner, sometimes you can't even get the car back, and it just slowly takes you out towards the wall. So he got away lightly, really.
This has been an amazing story in the championship over the last 4 weeks. Has been the remarkable amount of support that's come the way of this young man. Sri Lankan origins, grew up in Singapore racing. He's outgoing, he's friendly, he's happy, he's an awesome young man to have a chat to. He's been massively engaged with everything going on around him in this part of the world. We've got a really cool series coming up called Love Highlands that I think people are going to really enjoy. And we paired him up with a former All Black, of all things, and he was right onto it from the rugby knowledge as well. Turns out a bit of a rugby background in Sri Lanka, but he's been such an awesome part of this championship. Spent a little bit of time with his dad Johan, who's been out and about as well and enjoying New Zealand. He's been such a fun young driver, among many of them in this championship, to have as part of Castrol Tour at a Formula Regional Oceania this summer.
So this has worked out really well for Slater. Slater's all of a sudden found a whole lot of pace, just set the fastest lap of the race, 2 laps in a row, 29.1, and look at the gap he's opened out to Ugachukwu there, who was half a second quicker than him on that last lap. So that pressure's starting to mount from behind. No, at the same time, Sharp's starting to drop off just a little bit as well. So either way, Slater found some pace towards the end of this race.
Do you think at this point of the race, lap 13 of 16, on a circuit where you do spend a lot of time turning, you're in that dirty air? Is that Ugo's front tyres just giving up on him?
100%. That's from engineer Richard Crail. That's a perfect...
It's a technical term.
I was just about to say exactly the same thing. That's exactly what's happened. So, because when you're under that aero load and you're not using... your there's dirty, you're making the front tyres work that bit harder. They're not being pushed to the ground. So that's exactly what's going on there for Ugachukwu there. He's just cooked those fronts, trying to hang on to the back of Slater, trying to put a move on him. And that's where that gap's opened up. So whether or not as well, he's giving the tyres a breather. It'll be interesting to see the next couple of laps to see if he's got the pace to come back at Freddy Slater there. And as I say it, Ryan Wood has just gone and done the fastest lap of the race with a 28.9.
That's not far. It's about 1/10 of a second off the actual lap record for the FT60 CTFROT car here at Highlands, which is a 1 minute 28.83, just set by Liam Skeets in the 2024 New Zealand Grand Prix. So Ryan Wood would like a lap record. If he can't get any higher up the leaderboard than P6, a little lap record might be nice. But what we're learning about Ryan is that he has a very fast race car beneath him, and if he can qualify well for the Grand Prix, he is going to be an absolute threat.
Yeah, he certainly will be. We saw how much those race wins have meant to him so far, being part of this championship. So for him to have a crack at the New Zealand Grand Prix will certainly be one that he wants to tick off the list, as we know some amazing names that have won the Grand Prix, and not only done that, but gone on all the way to Formula One.
And make no mistake, Ryan Wood is still very much in championship calculations. 35 points coming into this race. As they run, he would actually move to 4th. He would jump Jin Nakamura, who is still stranded at the back half. In fact, he's not even in the top 10. He's got to 11th position at the moment. So he'd lose a few points in relation to Ugachukwu and Slater out in front, but he would gain a position fighting for the top 3. The beauty of this weekend as well, Andrew Waite, as we start lap 15 with 2 to go, is that there's really 2 things at stake here. There's a championship, which only a finite number of drivers are going to be able to win. And then there's a New Zealand Grand Prix, which any one of the 20 drivers on the grid could win. I love that duality of the weekend. So if you're in the championship fight, you're thinking about that. But if you're second in the New Zealand Grand Prix on the final lap and the championship's on the line, but the door opens to maybe win the Grand Prix as well, all of a sudden there are decisions at stake. So there's so many little subplots within this weekend that I absolutely love. And I think we're learning a little bit tonight about how this is going to play out.
We certainly are, and it gives us a great form guide as we head into the rest of the weekend as well, with the way that practice has been so far. It's as I was sitting down talking to the crew before the race, thinking it's hard to tell. There's no one single car that's fast. Everyone in practice up to this point has shown pace that we've seen at the front of this championship, so it's been reasonably jumbled, but Freddy Slater here has clearly got some pace in the back half.
Well, now the point of that, let's say Ugachukwu is leading the championship and the New Zealand Grand Prix on the last lap. Ryan Wood's second and can't win the championship. He's 1,000% going to have a go at winning the Grand Prix, and if you're Ugachukwu, probably sacrificing that to get the bigger trophy.
Yeah, it's that's a pretty tough decision, as we know those Grand Prix are so important, and Ugachukwu already winning the Macau Grand Prix to add that other Grand Prix trophy to his name. It's certainly be a hard decision, and one that's going to take a split second whether or not it's a right or wrong decision.
Fortunately, it's not one neither you nor I have to make this weekend, and we will be entertained regardless. A racy start to this one, and a beautifully managed race as well by Freddy Slater, who just worked his way into it, fended off the challenges from Ugachukwu early on. He's burning some push to pass now. He knew he had some up his sleeve, so there's no point getting to the checkered flag having some of that extra horsepower left. And what a well-judged race this has been. And for the first time since the end of Hampton Downs, the championship lead will be less than 20 points going into the New Zealand Grand Prix weekend, which starts with qualifying tomorrow. Over the bridge for the final time. This young man from the United Kingdom has had a massive week, announced as part of Audi's Formula One squad. And for just the 5th time this season, he will convert pole position to a race win as well. It is championship game on, and Freddy Slater is a contender. He wraps up what was the Teretonga weekend with 3 wins from 4 starts in round 3 of the championship, but opens up the account at Highlands in style as well. Ugachukwu second, Louis Sharp charged up to the back of the leaders at the end and will get another podium this year. And that will help him from a championship point of view. In fact, both he and Ryan Wood will jump Jin Nakamura from a championship standings point of view.
Jin did make a pass on that last lap on Cooper Shipman there, so Jin Nakamura does still hold on to 4th place.
Good point.
It is getting super, super tight in this championship. The battle is heating up here at Highlands.
Provisionally, just 18 points the margin now between the championship leader and the guy that won that race. The young Brit Freddy Slater on top to round out the Teretonga weekend. Ugachukwu second, Sharp, Lee, Schooler, Wood, Jin Nakamura, as you said, Andrew Waite, just scratched into the top 10 on the final lap of the race to get himself to 10th. Jack Taylor just in front of him, another top 10 for him. Outside of it, Phil McLaughlin, Seb Manson, Ernesto Rivera, Ala Baptista and Lord La Tourette. Calais Rovanpera unfortunately not starting this race. So highlights as we put a full stop on round 3 of the championship and move 4 into the 4th. Great start from pole. Gee, Louis Sharp for a moment, just for a moment, looked like he was going to go around the outside there at 1.
And that is not a corner to be 3 wide. Thought better of it, tucked back in, and it worked out. His Schooler there, the massive move on Yevon David, super early, recovering from a crash in practice earlier today. To throw a move like that on the lap, on the first lap, is a great job.
He ended up in P5, sort of running on his own for the rest of that race, but what a great move. And there were a couple of those early. That pass from Louis Sharp to get up into the podium finishing positions here was outstanding. We can confirm as well that with that race, Ryan Wood has claimed the rookie championship, can no longer be beaten for the rookie championship, and that's rookies in Formula regional cars anywhere in the world. So Well done, Ryan Wood. Rookie champion in Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. But what a performance. Picture perfect. Arguably his best drive of the season. Right at the moment it counted. Freddy Slater wraps up round 3 with an impressive victory on Friday at Highlands. And he will make his way to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane. We saw some pressure at Teretonga and we saw a little mistake. He ran wide on the exit of turn 5 and lost a spot. That was faultless.
That was absolutely faultless, especially with that pressure earlier on for Ugachukwu there as well, to be able to recover from that and then pull that lead at the start. It's a great way for him to open his count here at Highlands for Grand Prix weekend.
As we've seen all year long, Ugachukwu maximises what he's got. He scores the maximum points that were available to him in finishing second as Freddy Slater pulled away towards the end. And there's congratulations from the M2 competition team who notch up a 1-2 result in that race. There's his dad, Adrian. He'll celebrate with him as well. A very, very good victory and becomes a 3-time race winner this season too. Just the second driver to claim more than 2 victories. The other one, that's the championship leader.
Yeah, for him to be able to do that straight off the bat this weekend, it's a super important weekend. But to be able to come away with the race win like that, and just the amount of pace that he found at the end of the race there was super impressive too.
Let's go down to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane and hear from our winner, and he is going to talk to Rihanna Cran.
How good is that to have racing here on a Friday? Welcome back to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane. What a week you have had, young man. After Teretonga, the announcement this week, and then to start off this weekend with another win. Congratulations, that was superb.
Yeah, not a bad way to finish a Friday. Obviously a little bit weird doing a race today, but no, pace was good. Knew what we had to do at the start, and obviously with the wind it picked up and it made the car completely different to what it was earlier in FP3. So no, tricky race for all, but we came out on top. That's the main thing.
This championship is well and truly wide open. You've just done every bit that you could possibly do to get yourself particularly into that hunt. Is that something that is on your mind this weekend?
Not at all. I just keep on trying to win as many races as possible until Sunday afternoon and then see where we end up.
Go enjoy the celebrations on the podium. And coming in second from M2 competition, Ugachukwu. Congratulations back on the podium again. This is such a consistent thing from you. I can sense, though, not overly happy with that race. Tell me about it.
No, I think it was a pretty good race overall for us. Got into P2 in the first lap, which was the goal. And then I was just chilling from there, really. Yeah, just to take the B2. So I think overall pace has been really good the whole weekend, and I'm sure we can get our wins tomorrow pretty easily.
Are you racing with a sense of you need to conserve points and just make sure that you finish every race?
I mean, I tried to push for a move, of course, but the dirty air was terrible. So yeah, there wasn't really any chance to overtake, really. So yeah, I think the job will be done tomorrow in the qualies. Like I said, I'm pretty confident. Pace has been good, so I'm sure we can put it on pole.
Congratulations once again, the man that's sitting on top of the championship and rounding out third place on the podium this Friday afternoon. Congratulations, Louis Sharp. Hell of a move you pulled off in the early stages of that race.
Yeah, I mean, we know what racing's like in these single-seaters. There's not a lot of overtaking opportunities, so I got a good start, but I was a bit annoyed I didn't make the position into turn 1, so I thought, well, the first opportunity I get, I got to send in. That's what I did. So no, really happy to be back on the podium. I think we had quite a tricky FP3, so to bounce back and get the car in a good window is a really good result going into tomorrow.
Do you feel like you need to be aggressive this weekend to get those points?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I'm not here to finish second. You know, the championship lead is a few points away. You know, Ugo's done a really good job this year, and I've got a lot of ground to make up, but I'm definitely not going out without a fight.
Congratulations, then some fighting words. Well done to all of our competitors this afternoon.
Time now for the podium for what was scheduled to be race 3 at Teretonga Park in Invercargill last weekend, but staged here, of course, at Highlands on a Friday for the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. The trophies are going to be delivered by Andrew Davis, Vice President of Toyota New Zealand. Thank you for being here, Andrew. In third place today, from New Zealand, representing MTech, how about it for Louis Sharp? A good fight from this driver. This title race is going to be close. Good job. In second place, Ugachukwu from the United States at M2. And hot off the back of some big news this week, a great weekend in Invercargill. He's done it again. First place from the UK for M2. Give it up for Freddy Slater! The media capturing the moment. We say well done to our top 3 drivers there, but our podium presentation as we get the final photos of this moment isn't quite done. We have something very special to present this afternoon. We now know who is the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy winner of the Rookie of the Year. Andrew Davis will present this very special trophy at a time when he's about to start his journey with Toyota in supercars. Ladies and gentlemen, from M-Tech Motorsport and New Zealand, your Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy Rookie of the Year, Ryan Wood. That is brilliant. What a fantastic way to enjoy Friday afternoon here at Highlands. It is just going to keep getting better over the weekend. That young man might be focused on supercars, both here in New Zealand and across the ditch this year, but he's done a wonderful job in single-seaters here over summer. Rookie of the Year. And we are just about done with our coverage for the day. Don't forget, massive weekend tomorrow. In the meantime, let's go to Richard to wrap things up.
Thanks, Rusty. I wonder if a free engine lease for the championship next year means Ryan Wood might come back and have another go. Speaking of championship, here's how it stands. 18 points. It's the closest margin we have seen since round 1. Freddy Slater is charging at Ugo Ikuchukwu, who leads the way. Louis Sharp is 3rd now. Jin Nakamura drops to 4th. He's got to recover tomorrow. And Ryan Wood just a point behind in 5th. Behind that, Kanato Lee is still in calculations. It becomes really difficult behind those. Zach Schooler 7th, Sway in 8th, Rivera and David rounding out the top 10. James Wharton will be back in action tomorrow. Speaking of, we have got a massive program for you here from the NAPA 70th New Zealand Grand Prix and Repco Next Gen NZ. Join us all, won't you? 10:30 a.m. New Zealand time. That's 8:30 a.m. on the east coast of Australia. We would love to have your company here. Head to nextgen.co.nz for ticket details as well. There's still plenty of time for you to come and join us at this remarkable venue. What a day it's been. Freddy Slater makes his mark, the second 3-time winner of Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania. On behalf of our entire team, thanks for joining us for what we're affectionately calling the Friday Grand Prix. Back with more action tomorrow from Highlands. Good afternoon.